Hi, my name is Christopher, and welcome to Creators with Intent. Today I have a very special guest. I will let her introduce herself to you. She has been in the industry for some time now. If you have not subscribed to the page, you can subscribe. You can just like if you like the content, and then share for others to also learn. Welcome, and let's meet my guest. Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, how you ended up where you are.
Hey, packed in one. Okay, my name is Matilda Dubachi. Kafui Praise is my brand name. I'm a Ghana-based photographer and filmmaker. What's the second question?
Your journey, how you ended up into photography.
How I ended up into photography. Okay, it started with my love for taking pictures of myself. It was one way I could reward myself for doing a good work. I had this work. I used to work with a civil engineering and mining construction company. So then I did the job not because of the love I had for it, but because I need to make ends meet for survival. So photography was my way of escape and my way of like enjoying the work I do. So anytime I work for long hours, I'll go to photo store at Accra Mall to take like 60 pictures of myself.
Hey.
I see, hey, 60 pictures of myself, changing into different outfits. Then I didn't even know how to do makeup, or even now still I still don't know, but I would just take pictures of myself, and looking at those pictures made me feel confident about myself.
Okay.
It made me love myself more. So that's how photography started for me. So when I got the Samsung K Zoom, then I'll use it to take any pictures anyhow. I got it because I love pictures. I wanted to take pictures of myself. So I would take pictures anyway, anyhow, wherever, anyhow, anything. I'll just take pictures and share them on Facebook. Even without it, I'll just share them on Facebook. And then it started getting attention from people. People started commenting, and I even got my first wedding booking from Norway.
Hey!
Whilst I was using my phone. And that guy, Michael, God bless you wherever you are, for choosing me to be your photographer. Even when he knew that I didn't have a camera, he encouraged me to get a camera because I'll be shooting his wedding and learn how to use a professional camera.
I see.
So when I made this, I did the same thing. He hadn't come to Ghana yet.
Oh, okay.
So,
but he's a Ghanaian.
Yeah, he's a Ghanaian he was based in Norway then.
Oh, okay.
And his wedding will be in Ghana.
Okay.
And it's not like I've shot. It was a sister's wedding, more like a sister, yeah. So I was using the phone to just play around. That was official, so I was just playing around, and the way I would shoot, the way I would take pictures and things like that, he saw something I didn't see.
Oh, okay.
So when he booked me, I had to quickly find a way to buy a camera. I started learning. I went for a 1 week in Ho with a friend to teach me how to operate. It was so try and error. But I think the persistency, and then for me, if someone believes in me to do something, the fact that the person believes alone, even when I doubt myself, that belief of the person would push me to just go the extra mile, just to prove to the person that it was worth it believing in me.
I see.
That for me drives me a lot. Even for my Raised music video, I did it because the person believed in me enough to do it. Okay. So he pushed me to the extra mile just to prove the person right, that hey, you were right believing in me. So that belief of the guy booking me to shoot his wedding was what drove me, was a driving force to move into photography, not for the money. I didn't even have a rate card or any amount to charge him then. So it was for the love of it. So it all started from there, one thing to another. I ended up resigning from the company I was working with. It wasn't for photography actually, but it ended up being photography. So that's how I fell into photography, by accident or by passion. It was a hobby that turned into a business.
Okay, I think it's more by passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on Facebook, if I remember, I saw a post of you. You had taken some event of Eugene Zuta. Yeah. And you said you did all those on a photo. I mean, like
on that
a phone.
same phone.
Wow.
It was on that same phone. And the funny thing about that whole thing is that I was so shy to go to the stage. The confidence wasn't there. I didn't believe like people are holding heavy cameras with long lenses. Now with the phone, you zoom lens, I push it, inside. You're gonna stand on stage with that to block whose view. I mean, the confidence wasn't there. Kafui had I think it was a Canon 7D Mark II or something like that with a 70-200. So he was a friend, and I was like, I want to go to the stage, but I'm shy. I'm not sure. He was like, oh, what at all can happen? Just go, and no one will say anything. I mean, that word alone gave me the vim to get a little close to the stage, just to take this picture. Even though it looked like I was joking, that's where it all started, because of someone's words of encouragement. So as children of God, our words of encouragement to each other. Like you having your first episode now. When I was coming with my husband, I told him that, oh, this is your first episode, and that I wanted to encourage you to like this will become big someday.
Yeah.
So as it's starting now, you need all the support and all the support you can get to just make this thing grow. It's all about the encouragement, being a source of encouragement to one another. So here we are today.
And honestly, when I contacted her, I had my doubts. I thought that she has been in the industry for a long time. I followed her on Facebook for many years. The story she's saying about her resigning from work, I read it on Facebook. She jumping into photography, not knowing how it's going to happen for her. So when I contacted her and then told her that I'm starting this program and I want her to come, I had my doubts. She just said yes. And today we are here. That shows how committed she is to people and those who are actually starting off. She has been through and she knows how to encourage people to also start. And that's very commendable. You won't find a lot of people like that. Some people like to keep their space and their secrets to themselves, but she likes to share, and that's what I like about her. But did you consider yourself as a creative when you were starting off?
No. For me, it wasn't about creativity. It was just, I was just curious. I have a very curious mind. In fact, you have no idea the extent I would go to figure things out. If you want to hide something from me, because I would come through the whole place and find out what exactly. So it was just curiosity. I try things to see how it will come out. I try not to go the extreme, out of curiosity. If you won't kill someone, I'm just curious to find things out. I want to shoot the thing this way to see how it will come. Most of the times, I don't even know how a shoot is going to come out. So I may have an idea or a concept that I want to put across, but I don't really know how it's going to turn out. Sometimes you do it, then something crazy happens. I call it the God moment. Something just pops out of it. I hope I'm not deviating from the question. What was the question again?
That you consider yourself a creative? Okay.
For now, I will consider myself a creative. When I was starting up, I didn't consider myself a creative.
So when it comes to creativity, what is creativity to you?
Creativity to me is being able to show people or being able to do something or capture something in a way that to the normal eye may not be seen, or they may not be able to capture it. That's creativity to me. Being able to show something that the normal eye can't see.
Okay, so you are a photographer.
Yeah, and a filmmaker.
They
keep leaving the filmmaker part out.
She just graduated from photography into filmography.
Not just graduated, 2 years into it. I've been doing filmmaking for 2 years now, and I think half of that has been mostly in studying film, what goes into film and all that. It's been the studying work. I think the shooting aspect started a year ago. Yeah. So
That's really wonderful, and it goes to buttress the question I'm about to ask you. What is your creative process like? You were saying initially that you have a creative, like you are inquisitive, so there's always something you have in mind and you try to bring it out. So what is your creative process like?
what is my
Both
creative
photography
process?
and filmmaking.
What is my creative process? For photography, I would be specific. For photography, if I have a concept, assuming I have a shoot, let's say a pre-wedding shoot, I would ask the client what they have in mind, what kind of shoots they are looking at. Are they looking at an outdoor shoot with a natural background, or they are looking at a studio shoot or a location shoot kind of? So when the client briefs me on what they have in mind, then I also go back to my drawing board and think about ways and means to use what the location the client wants and what they have in mind to get the best out of the place. Assuming I'm shooting at a beach, what can I use at the beach that will sync with that concept to make it stand out? Where am I shooting and how does the place look like? How can I use it? Let's take for instance, there was a pre-wedding I did at Sakmono Beach, the rail line area. And before that pre-wedding shoot, I prayed a lot, asking God to just give me something out of the ordinary, because the place has been so used. The place has been so overused, and you've seen so many pictures from the place. How do I go there and shoot differently than what has been shown? And I noticed that anytime I pray about a concept or I pray about something, asking God to drop his creativity in me, something crazy happens when I shoot. Something out of the ordinary, just without me expecting it. So that particular shot, a thought came into after days of having blank concepts and not knowing what to do, even though I knew the location. And a concept dropped in my mind to just draw the shape of love to capture the bride in. So the groom was going to draw love with his hand whilst being on the rail line, and the bride will be on top of the bridge posing, and the bride to be captured in the shape of the groom's hand. So you can see her in the love, and the groom will just do this. And I mean, that concept just came to mind. So when we got there, I made him stand there, and I was trying to see, I made the bride go up, and they trusted me enough to so that sometimes creative process is not a one-way route. But as a child of God, if you are connected to your source and you are always linking up with your source to download, not to upload, but to download, God is open. He says, ask and it shall be given unto you. So he would surely drop that creativity. That's my creative process for photography. I pray, I think, I go online for inspiration and concepts to play around things. And when we get on the field, things change. Things may change. I just go with the flow and the best comes out of it.
I'm so happy you are mentioning God. You are mentioning going with the flow, because there are certain things that I would ask you later on that is really in that particular line.
I see.
So you described your creative process and you mentioned God. Do you think that in your creativity, in your line of creativity, do you think God is intentional?
Yes, God is intentional. He's intentional.
Let me add this. Is he intentional or spontaneous?
I think he's both. He's a mixture of both. He's a God that you can't predict. He's an intentional God and spontaneous God. I would say he's a mixture of both, because see how he created the world. Let there be, and there was. What was he looking at? What blueprint was he looking at to create the world? Who designed that blueprint? He declared forth what he saw within himself and then made it come forth. So sometimes intentionality is knowing what you are doing and how. So here's a God. I think it's both. Me, I can't say God is spontaneous or God is intentional because I don't even know what he has planned ahead. We trust him step by step of the way. So for us, it's new, but for him, I think he's intentional. We are spontaneous. No, okay, it's better.
He's intentional. We are spontaneous.
Yeah.
His intentionality makes us spontaneous.
That's it.
Okay.
It looks like we are spontaneous because his intentionality, he already knows the end from the beginning. But if we would trust him to follow him in step with his purpose, we may not see the end of the stairs. But we just trust him. So it becomes spontaneous to us because it becomes, wow. So this is what God has in mind. Once you go to, okay, this is how okay. It's like something new keeps popping up here and there. So God is intentional and we, his children, are spontaneous. Spontaneous if we will rely on his intentionality. I hope it makes sense. And I'm mixing it.
That's really serious because when you look at intentionality and spontaneity, okay. Let me just ask this. What is intentionality to you?
Intentionality is...
From your perspective, not God's perspective.
Okay. From my perspective, intentionality is planning something and then going along with it exactly how it's planned and not deviating from it. Assuming I plan to shoot you sitting there, I must shoot you sitting there like that. I won't ask you to climb here or squat somewhere or... It's like whatever you plan to go along with, you go along with it exactly. That's if I'm getting it right. Yeah.
So you stick to what you had in mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So for God, he is intentional. Even as Jeremiah says that I know the thoughts I think towards you.
Exactly.
Thought of peace, that will give you a good end and a good. So he already knows what he has.
Exactly.
Planned for us.
Yeah.
But for our discovery, it becomes spontaneous, more spontaneous, like, wow, oh God, I didn't know you were like this.
Exactly.
I didn't know that you thought this
Exactly.
way. Okay, so following him makes us spontaneous, but he is intentional. Now, my next question is, I like the way the thing is going. It's so amazing. How does God's intentionality influence your creative process?
I have to take a breather on that question. How does God's intentionality influence my creative process?
You are a child of God. The Bible says that we are oracles of God, right? An oracle is like you speak what
God gives you.
Yeah, so it's like whatever you are doing is what he is doing. He speaks through you, right? So you are the vessel through whom his creative process comes forth. The question is, how does knowing that God is intentional and he thinks about stuff, there has a certain way he thinks about, how does that influence your way of creativity?
Okay. How God's intentionality influenced my creativity is, first and foremost, it amazes me, kind of. It amazes me in ways beyond my understanding, in the sense that I may have a concept in mind. Sometimes I'm just there even without planning to. Something drops in mind from something I see. And being created in God's image and likeness, we are all gifted with various talents and various abilities. So as a child of God, if you've been able to discover your talent, the easiest way to harness that talent is knowing God. The more you know him, the more you know yourself. So it's a two-way road, or it's a one-way road, but it's a double road. It's a double road, but it's a one-way, at least one way.
It's a highway with double lanes.
With double lanes. The more you're knowing God, the more you're knowing yourself. So your knowledge of God is more of a discovery of yourself. So me knowing that this is the gift God has given me, the gift of photography and videography, being able to see and show things that may not be seen easily. So I have a concept in mind and there's something I want to do. I may not have the full picture, but anytime I come to the source, that's my God, and I'm like, Father, okay, I want something to stand out. I want to do this with a certain perfection. I want to do this with a touch of creativity that hasn't been seen so much, or that hasn't been seen before. Please take the lead and lead the way. That it's amazing how effortlessly things fall in place, the kind of concepts you get from here, the kind of concepts you get from there. So for me as a creative, how I try to like stay connected and always be on alert for what he will drop. So most of the things I do, it's not that I have seen it somewhere. Even if I see it somewhere and I try to do it, it comes out differently than what I see. So that's how God's intentionality influenced my creativity. In staying connected to his source and always open to download, open to receive from him, knowing that he is my source and I am his handiwork.
God is a creator.
Yeah.
You see, so all creatives essentially are supposed to be dependent on God.
Yeah.
Because he's the source of creativity, you know. And I like the fact that she's throwing more light on staying connected to God, open to receiving from him. Because a lot of people say they are connected, but they just go and present what they have for God to figure stamp it. Like, okay, I've endorsed the go. This is it. But not open to receive from him. And I like that she's throwing more light on that. So creatives out there, always know that your God is a creator. And he created you in his image as a creator. And there is more in heaven that we haven't seen. There's more in God that we have not even touched. So there's a lot of space to explore in God. There's a lot of ideas to explore in God. So staying connected is really, really, really important. So that takes me to my other question. God is intentional. We, in a bid to be intentional like him, we have discoveries of spontaneity. You know, the next question I would like to ask is purpose and intentionality. What drives what? Does purpose drive intentionality, or intentionality drives purpose?
Whose intentionality? God or man?
No, I'll leave it to you. Touch on both. Your intentionality, for example, you've discovered that, okay, this is my purpose. I'm a photographer, right? How does being intentional drive photography? Or how does being a photographer kind of shape you to be intentional about stuff? There are two ways to that.
Yeah, it's like a two different way. I'm trying to figure out.
There are two. One, okay, I'm a photographer. Because of that, I have to be intentional about stuff, about how I create things. Two, the other one is, because I'm a photographer, I have to, the other one is, I have to be intentional in order to achieve that standard of photography. So that intentionality drives photography, purpose or purpose drives intentionality. Which is which for you?
Does intentionality drive purpose or purpose drive intentionality? Okay, it can be both. It can be both. So I'll take it from one angle and take it from the other angle. So how does purpose drives intentionality for me? Let's say I am a photographer and a filmmaker. That's my gift is not my purpose, or my gift is my skills and abilities are not my purpose. They are one of the ways I express my purpose. So let's say one of the ways I express my gifts, my purpose, is through photography and filmmaking, or singing, or playing an instrument, or something like that. How do I use this purpose to be intentional? Or how does purpose drives this intentionality? Photography and filmmaking. See, I think I'm missing. I'm trying to tell. I think I'm missing.
There's a thin line.
How does purpose drive intentionality? Okay, I think I'm back on course. So fine. Photography and filmmaking. How do I use photography and filmmaking to drive intentionality? Photography and film. There are so many photographers and filmmakers out there. What will make me stand out? I know it's one of the ways I express my purpose, but how do I use it intentionally to make me stand out or make the what I feel like I'm being called to do to stand out? I study. I take courses, I take workshops. Aside from staying connected to my source, I make sure I learn. Because one thing is that even the Bible says that study to show yourself approved. So you
A
can't.
workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
That's it, rightly dividing the word of truth. So you can claim to be a photographer, you don't know about lighting. You don't know about how to shoot with natural light. You don't know even how to use a DSLR camera. You don't know about the lenses, prime lenses, and then the kit lenses, the work that goes on around it. And you want God to what? Drop angels to come down and then fan in mouth say, creativity. No, it doesn't work that way. It's not a genie that will just come and snap his finger and say, let there be creativity. And God is able to do that, but he's intentional. So you as his child, you know you love photography. You know you have passion for it. What have you done to study about it? Have you taken any online workshops? Have you gone on YouTube to study the basics of it? What are you doing yourself intentionally to harness that purpose? So if you're not doing, you're not letting your purpose, be intentional with your purpose to drive it to a place where you want it to be, to grow to that place. Don't expect God to drop a certain level of crazy thing. God can drop something in you, but because you've not harnessed your skills enough to that level, you may not know how to execute that concept. Like I have a particular concept in mind where I want to play with light, motion, and water. I want to play with these three things at the same time. How do I apply this if I don't know how to play around with long exposure? I don't know how to play around with underwater camera. I don't know how to play around with shooting with light and stuff like that. How do I play around with this thing if I don't know? Knowledge, purpose, driving intentionality. Be intentional about where you are going and what you are doing in that direction to make things stand out. So another way, how does intentionality drive purpose? Fine, I want to be this, I want to be that. I have gotten close to God and I feel that God has laid this on my heart. I don't know what the future holds and I don't know what is going to come out of this, but I'm trusting God to lead the way. But as He's leading the way, I'm preparing myself. Preparation means preparation and opportunity as well as success. So being intentional and then gradually growing yourself to that place, a step at a time, trusting God to lead the way. Then in the future, as it started for me, it started with phone. I didn't plan on shooting any wedding from Norway. I didn't even know that photography or filmmaking would be something I'll be doing full time. I had no idea. I had no plans. I had no direction of what I wanted to do in life. It was so confusing. It started with IT, graphic designing. One thing was just moving towards another, but I was just trusting God and then going with the flow. But one thing I always do is that I'm a fast learner. So anywhere I find myself, I quickly try to adjust and then learn my way through. So without planning to be here today, I am here today because I took everything I had to do very serious and I learned my way through intentionally to be at the purpose I am today. I don't know if that makes sense.
She has tried. Let's give it to her. She has tried. She's really tried. Yeah. I think we'll take a breather and then when we come back, we'll get into more.
Thank you.
So stay connected. Hi guys, welcome back. Let's get into what we were talking about earlier. So we were on purpose driving intentionality. And do you have any other thing to add to what you said earlier?
Yeah, I do. How do I use my purpose to drive intentionality? Okay, one of the ways I use my purpose to drive intentionality is I know I have the gift of photography and filmmaking. Now, as a child of God, how am I deliberate about how I use it out there. I don't do nude photography. It's not because I can't do it. I can do it. But I decide not to do it. Even if the money is good, I will not do it. Why? Because I know what the word says. I know who I am in Christ. I know what I'm supposed to use my gift to promote. If God won't be seen in what I'm doing, then I don't want to be part of it. So that's one of the ways I intentionally use my purpose and my gifts to promote the kingdom agenda in my own small corner. I look out for creativity in different ways. If it's not going to bring God glory, I'm not in it. Be it film, be it photography. Yeah.
So take it from here. Kafui Praise doesn't do anything nudity. Don't. If you have anything in mind to present to her, I'm telling you, it's a no. Okay. Have you encountered any challenge first as a female photographer?
I have to laugh because it's so funny. I've encountered countless number of challenges. It's so much that I've personally lost count. I've grown a tough skin for it. When I was starting up, when I was starting up, my other colleague photographers or other colleagues who felt they were ahead of me, yes, they were ahead in their own way. One of them said I was rushing in the sense that I'm curious to know everything. The force at which I wanted to learn everything, to them it was too forceful. It was too.
Was a male photographer?
Yeah, male photographer. They were not willing. It's like I'm rushing. For the female photographers too that I go closer to and then send the message I want to learn, they didn't take me serious. Because me now, I didn't take myself serious.
You know, you're the only female photographer I know.
Really? They feel more. I think they are gradually coming up.
Okay.
It's a field that you see less females venturing into because one is cost intensive. You need a lot of money to buy gadgets and things. And also, you need jobs to get money to buy gadgets. Unless you are from a good home, that your parents can buy you all these things. That your parents can buy you all these things. If you don't have that, you have to like hustle your way through. And sometimes it becomes tough. Another challenge is people hardly believe in female photographers.
Really?
Until they see your works out there, they won't believe in you. Let's say you are starting up and you have nothing to show for it. It's tough to prove yourself to people unless you have something to show. And having something to show is you consistently posting your works out there and then being like making your voice heard, constantly letting people know that, hey, I'm here, through your post, through your sharing of your works and here and there. And one funny thing is that I get clients who book me because they know what I can do. But when I go on, let's say it's a wedding and I'm on set to shoot, the family, because they don't know me, or the people around, or like their top people also may not know me or what I can do. At the early stages, they give you attitude. It's like, we so here then her, and maybe there's some uncle in the family that has some camera. There's always an uncle somewhere, and that uncle has some camera. And then the funny thing is, when they try to shoot, the pop-up flash will pop up, showing that they're shooting auto. But they feel like Oma Bedru. Oh, and they would just mess things up, crossing you and all, feeling like they know better. But at the end of the day, when they begin to see how you carry yourself and what you are doing and how you are doing it, before you would leave the place, they start warming up to you, which is not right. You should start warming up to me when I come, not when I'm leaving. Then they become your friends and followers in future. But when a male photographer comes and he's supposed to shoot, once they see the guy with the camera, he doesn't need to prove himself. But as a female, you have to go the extra mile to prove yourself. I get pastors telling me that I'm walking too fast when I'm shooting. Then I wasn't married. We were just friends. And he was assisting me to shoot that wedding. So sometimes to capture something that's happening quickly, you have to walk very fast to go and then grab it. I keep walking here and this old man called me. He had one young man since me. So he asked me, are you married? I said no. Are you in a relationship? He said no. You walk too fast. Catwalk, so that a man can see you. And
that you were working.
I'm working. It's so funny. Catwalk so that a man can see. It actually broke my spirit down that day because I thought I was working. And I looked at him like an old man that's old enough to be my father. I was so down that my husband today, then we were just friends. He started dancing, trying to make me laugh and stuff like that. But I didn't really, it broke me. And there was another one. I was shooting a naming ceremony. Once he saw me with a camera in a relationship, are you married? I said no. It was like, people like you are very loose. People like you who hold the camera and do these things, they are very loose. I know them. It hit me, a pastor. I'm like, so it made me start thinking of myself. Is it the camera that makes me loose? And it's not like I have seen some guy there that I was trying to like run or something like, no.
I saw you close my mouth. I don't understand. Lose so how?
That's the question. So I later sent a message to the client that this your pastor told me this. He was like, I shouldn't mind them. That's what. It hit me. I'm like, so it made me kind of like, and there are many, many instances. It's always guys that have this kind of, like people who you are, and this man is not a young pastor, old man la.
Hey.
So sometimes you get these things and then you wonder. And at the early stages, my auntie was like, a woman who is everywhere and you're not settled, no man will want to marry you. I think marriage is like the World Cup.
You were wrong.
No, today they've realized it. So now when they see this.
Auntie, you were wrong. You have to come and apologize or you bring some.
My auntie was like, if you're a woman who is everywhere and not stable, no man will want to marry you. So instead of doing the photography, I should find a provision store and just sit at, and so that I'll be stable, so that a man can. I
saw
marry
that on
me.
Facebook. You wrote on Facebook, right? Yes.
So a man can marry me. And my mom too was like, she has never heard of a photographer who has built a house before. So all she sees is them on bicycle, cring, 3 city, house to house, 3 city, or bet your picture, not 2 days later, now they're about 3 Ghana, 5 Ghana, 3 Ghana. So they never progress in life. So she begs me, I should forget about this thing and then focus on managing my uncle's business for him. Because he gave me the ultimatum, or like the choice to choose between photography and his business. And if I choose photography, I have to leave his house and go and find my own place to live. It's crazy. And guess what I chose? I mean, you know that. I chose photography. And the funny thing is, I was now learning my way through it. It's not like I had started. I was a few months old in the thing.
But they saw the dedication and the fire with which you are going at.
So I still left to go pursue this photography. So whilst I was learning how to go around it, I was equally learning how to survive on it. Trying to pay my rent from it. That's it. So thank God that I had an understanding landlady then who was willing to give me some months to pay my rent. So minyaka krevia na masende minyaka krevia na masende.
God bless you.
God bless her. God bless her.
God bless.
God bless her. One of the other challenges is being able to gather enough money to buy equipment, because equipment is really, really costly and it takes a lot of the monies. So as a female photographer or as a female creative, raising monies to buy equipment is one of the major challenges I've faced. And so everything you do as work-wise, you have to like group the monies, all of it, to buy equipment, especially at the early stages when you are starting up. And even now, as I'm still here, I still need some equipment. There's always the need for equipment.
Something new, yeah.
But you have to also be strategic on the kind of equipment you buy and why you buy it. So you have to like also plan towards it. I think those are some of the challenges when you're starting up.
Okay. Yeah. You are very intentional about your creative process. Have you ever encountered challenges with working with people who are let me borrow your own word, loose. Like they are not intentional about anything. You are working with them, right? Have you encountered challenges being a creative that is so intentional in your line of?
I've encountered a lot of challenges working with other creatives or other people who want to come into the creative space. You know, being a female, we want to like promote the all women agenda and all that and all that. So my sisters,
listen, sisters, this
so
is serious.
I bring you on board to come in and help me do this, promote this agenda, and you are in the learning phase. I'm open enough to wanting to teach you everything I want to teach you, but the drive, it's like I'm on a different lane and you're also on a different lane. I said, two women make corners and banner say, and so forth. I don't want to mention any names or pinpoint anyone. I've had 2 of that kind of experience with females that I try to bring close to teach. So because of those past experiences, I've decided to just, Charlie, I'll promote and support you, and then like coach you, guide you, give you, like, if there's something you want to do, you can come for advice. I'm open to advise anyone.
I think you're answering my next question.
I'm open to advise anyone and then give you the advice out there. But as in bringing you into my space, I work from home now. I do shoot on locations, and maybe if the studio shoots, I plan and then get it done. But bringing people into my space, into my home, and that again, I don't do that again. And I let people prove themselves. So now I shoot with just my husband. Unless it's a major shoot and I need more on board, then I'll bring more people on board. But the seriousness I want to see in other ladies, it's not there. So, Charlie, I feel, and the guys are more serious. I don't know if it's just me. When I'm working with a guy, he focuses on getting the job done. And we are all working. The same drive I'm driving, he's also like on that focus. Yeah. But my sister, oh, sister. Oh, sister. No, okay, it's not to say that all of them. Maybe those that I have encountered. Oh, my bro. Nothing I say. Eventually, it goes to, bro.
Interesting.
I don't know. So I maybe so at a point I felt like me and Eddie are driving. So I just focus on getting me cry overshoot alone. So at a point it makes me just relax. I'll just I'd rather get a guy and go get the job done. And that attitude thing, or better because what I say why you're saying, you know, say that kind of but that on the side, that's just like the negative aspect. But the positive aspect is I have had a female mentee who was a Nigerian. My first female mentee who is a Nigerian, whom I trained. She's now one of the top photographers in Nigeria, doing amazing things.
Wow. What's her name?
Her name is Christine.
As for the good ones, we'll mention their names.
It's on Pepe Christine. She has this focus, even though she was a law student who came to Ghana to study. When we are on set shooting, she shoots like the thing is hers. She pours her heart into the thing, and she has a teachable spirit. And there's this communication, and I've not found anyone with that same drive.
Even for a guy.
Even for a guy. Yeah. Even for a guy. Because of that, she's the only one who has been able to and she personally has so when she was living, I even gave her one of my lenses too. That's just like and even today, there's still that relationship, there's still that that mentee, mentor. Now it's like we are sisters. We are sisters. We talk on deeper levels because she has proved that she's making good use of what she's learned. Okay. And even when we were in Ghana, I saw that seriousness. So it's not about being a woman and wanting a woman to support you. You get to other female, because you're a film photographer, I want to send you a message, I want to learn, and what are you doing yourself? What have you done yourself? How are you proving yourself? It's not about women. Now we are getting a lot of NGOs, a lot of international organizations searching for female creatives in film, in photography, because they want to do the gender balance. Now they want to be gender balanced. If people should come for you, what do you have to show? Is it that because you're a female, you deserve the opportunity? What are your skills? What are you learning yourself? How are you upgrading yourself? How are you humbling yourself to learn? And then you don't necessarily need to be close to people to learn from them. You can learn from them from afar. You can communicate with them, see their works, how they went about it. If you have any questions, you PM them. Oh, how did you do this? How did you do that? There are ways you can do this. You don't necessarily need to come and sit with me in my bedroom or in my living room or follow me on set. That one is an opportunity you can also explore to necessarily learn. There are many ways you can go about this. YouTube has a whole lot of content for you to learn from. So harness your skills, harness your talent, harness your passion. Make sure you are good at what you do so that when the opportunity finds you, you are not found wanting. So people won't come for you because you're a lady. I don't want anyone to come for me because I'm a lady. I want people to come for me because I'm good at what I do. That makes me happy. It makes me feel confident of what I do. I think that.
On that note, we'll draw the curtain. I was going to ask her to say her last words, but I think that it's a very,
I have a last word.
Good. She said she has a last word. So let's just get your last word. Anything you would like to say, something that's on your heart for someone to know.
Yeah. Okay, the last word I would have for anyone out there, be it a male or a female creatives. I always like to talk more to the females because the males, they're more awesome. So to the male creative, keep doing you. For the female creatives, keep driving that vision. Find ways and means. Every day is an opportunity to learn something new. Always be open. It may be difficult at the early stages when you're trying to learn something new. Keep pushing. There's the more you do something, the more you constantly open yourself to learn something. It may be difficult at the early stages, but the more you keep going at it, it becomes soft along the way, and then you realize that you begin to understand it. At the early stages, I didn't understand what shutter speed meant, what f-stop meant, what ISO meant. It sounded like a weird decoded language. But the more I constantly kept hearing it, kept seeing it, kept reading about it, kept watching videos on it, it became a language I understood. So keep doing you, keep learning, make sure you are good at what you do so that when the opportunity hits you or it comes to you, you will stand out.
She wants to say amen.
Amen.
She wants to say amen. So I would like to say thank you so much for coming.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
I was so happy when she said she was coming, and we can all attest to the fact that there's a lot in her to bring out. This interview is just a piece of what she would like to share with you guys and with me myself. I follow her. I've learned a lot. I remember when I was trying to get her here. She said she was going to play with light, water, and then
motion.
No, light, water, and motion. She mentioned something about HSS. I'm like, what is HSS? What is HSS? Until I spoke to a friend of mine who said this is called high speed sync. And it showed me like the depths of what she knows and how committed she is to what she does. It's been great having you. God bless you.
I'm glad
I can't pay you for this information. This information you can't even pay and then get. So these are things that she has learned personally. You are hearing it as sweet words, but then it's something she paid the price for.
Yeah.
So I believe that you take it serious. We'll draw the curtain here until you see us again next week or anytime you see this upload. It's a bye-bye from us. And if you have not subscribed, I don't know, it won't cost you a thing. It's just clicking on the button. It's free. And if you like what you see, just like it and then share for others to be blessed. Thank you so much. My name has always been Christopher. Bye-bye.